Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Prize, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is my report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Del Borovic as Morgan Rolls, and Josh Halbot as Gideon Vega. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band have been joined by Gideon Vega. We experienced the celestial season that led Gideon to the demon world. Valentyne promoted the noble to sanctioned psyker, and Morgan and Attikus led the charge towards the enemy raiders. Can these heroes save the innocent and kill the corrupted? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
From the Plague Bearer's Journal. Time does not work here the way it does elsewhere. I cannot bring myself to regret the choices that have brought me to this place, or that cause the pain that have caused my eyes to rot. But even here, I wish I could see the light of the Emperor one more time. Perhaps one day. No further entries. Morgan, you were lining up a shot on a witch.
Yep.
The leader of a band of vultures who are picking the proverbial and literal flesh clean from some of the castaways of Greybridge who have crashed here. Your new companion, Gideon, just unleashed fiery hell on a thing that Valentyne continues to be concerned about. You don't got time for that.
Nope.
You got time for shooting.
Yep.
So you're lining up your shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
It's been
so
a
you got to
little.
shoot a thing.
Yeah.
But shooting a psyker, pretty nice way to come back.
Yeah.
So let's line up this target.
Yep.
The witch is standing atop a small sort of, I guess, piece of wreckage just beyond the crowd. So at pretty far distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say this is probably a 4 purple range for you. You have the time to aim. None of you are engaged in combat. They are unaware that any of you are even here.
Right.
So you can take your aim bonus. Toby is damaged, so he can't be giving you any assistance.
No, and I think, if anything, Toby is watching her 6 because she's planning, if this is opening the beginning of the battle. Also, what is my wounds and strain at this point?
You're all back at full.
Sweet.
Oh, yes. Okay, so
And if we need healing again, I'll talk to a stone.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is what that day and a half was just binding of wounds and resting and,
absolutely,
and slowly coming back to life.
So I want to, while I'm making this shot, and since I'm opening the battle, spend 2 strain to get another maneuver, because I want to use my main one to aim.
I was going to say, you don't have to spend strain to get the maneuver because you haven't started combat yet, so you can just wait a little longer and it happen.
This is also true.
Because, so then I can aim first, but what she's planning to do is aim, open up the shot, and then instantly move. Because if there's any long-range retaliatory fire, I'm not staying in the position where I take the shot from.
Right.
So I'm going to bail out as soon as I make this shot, basically. With the modified stock, aiming once counts as twice. So I get both those boosts. And then also, if there is any setback, I drop one of those because of being a crack shot. But not sure if there's any armor to contend with here.
In terms of armor, there is not.
Okay.
But I would be giving you a setback for the bikers kind of swirling around, and there's just enough Thunderdome nonsense going on that it's less that your aim is true. It's more that an idiot might jump in front of your shot and thus ruin it.
Yes.
But with your ability to remove a setback, I'll say that you mitigate that, and that's just, again, being a seasoned sniper, Sweet. To leave enough room. As someone who has failed at sniper scope in the arcade several times, knowing enough to be like, I need to legitimately wait to make sure I've got this shot, rather than like, I've got the shot, I'm just going to pull the trigger. I'm like, no, the helicopter moved.
Yeah, and she's had her time to sit there, and I think also because it's like, this is, Valentyne gave her this, I'm going to use a story point. Because it's everything else has been so chaotic and strange and weird. But the moment that it's like, there is a person over there, shoot that person, and she can settle into that slowly breathe out, and take that shot.
Great.
We got 4 successes and 1 threat.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, let's see how much damage you can do.
That should be 12 damage.
12 damage.
Good lord.
And does your... It's been a hot sec. Your current ammunition doesn't give you...
That's correct. This is the ammunition I brought from Greybridge, which was matching
the
Lord
bullets
Van
we have at
Houten's
home.
gun, which I never got other bullets in for.
Yeah, everything's on the roguish tradester.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so that's 12 wounds. Yikes. All right, so you fire off the shot. It's allowed even amongst the roar of the engines of the bike.
Though also, the sniper rifle does have a silencer, which means it actually gives 2 setback to perceive the sound of it.
Interesting. Okay.
The rest of us remain hidden in cover, so we'll see what happens.
So yeah, you'll have to
Time
see if
for
it gets
Tommy
perceived.
to get reach for his dice. Let's see. That's really interesting. That really fucks
It's
things
been
up.
there forever.
That's,
Yeah.
it hasn't come up too often.
Well, yeah, because we're usually in open warfare, but
Okay.
it's built for hiding in cover
Get that
and
first
a little
shot out. Yeah.
and then run away. Unpuh.
a little puh. 12 damage.
There's a difference between punching and purring.
Yes.
Okay, so you had 2 setback
To a perceived check.
to perceive check.
Yep.
Okay.
Perception.
Perception. 2 setback. 2
But what will the difficulty be? Morgan, what's your stealth?
My stealth is 2 yellow and 3 green.
Oof.
Nice. I was like,
Secret sniper.
fucking ow. Just stands there. Look.
Can't be right. Which one of you guys did
Oh,
that?
wait,
Talking to the
wait.
Raiders?
Hold on.
Oh, no.
This is the actual rules for my sniper rifle. It says silencer. These upgrades use sonic bafflers, blessed coolant oils, and other methods to muffle the weapon's discharge noise, preventing detection from nearby foes. Perception tests to hear shots made with a silenced weapon add 2 setback and can only be attempted at short range.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this isn't like you screwed like a water bottle on the end of the rifle.
This
It's
is a
like
fancy
fucking-
silencer.
Yeah, like the emperor himself is in there going, every time the bullet comes out.
Oils. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, well, that's fine. Then I won't roll anything because no one is at short range. Jesus Christ. Okay, so
Do we even hear it? We would roll with 2 setbacks. Even
Valentine looks
Here.
over and just says, no, I said 5. Why are you rolling away?
between
She's like, roll.
between
Reposition.
Morgan and Gideon, just no one is doing what you tell them
Yeah,
to do,
it's
and
a
then
strange day.
you look over and see like just psionic fire around the side of the witch's head, where a chunk of his face has been blown away, but he's seemingly being held together by warp power. He's still up, but a big chunk of his face is missing.
again.
Yeah, we'll try and take another shot if you can.
I mean, he's gonna dive to the ground. He's not gonna be like,
It's not going to meerkat it at the top
Yeah,
of his
That noise.
I was going to say, now you
yeah,
have
he
to
just
track your
turns
maneuvers.
his head and be like, put one here. So he leaps, like at first shot you roll. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's treat this like initiative.
Okay.
To see if he can jump before you can shoot.
Okay.
So this is going to be. Let's do coordination for both of us.
Okay.
Because we're both trying to get the fuck out of here in different ways.
And no difficulty? Or
Yeah, no difficulty. This should be a straight roll against each other to see what happens.
Okay.
And spoiler alert: the psyker isn't
Super agile.
super agile.
how many numbies, Tom?
Oh shit! All right, I got 3 success and 2 advantage.
I got 5 success and 2 advantage.
All right.
Yo.
So there's just a moment as, part of his head gets blown off and the psychic powers that are kind of swirling within him struggle to kind of keep him going, that it's a bit of, in T-1000 terms, it's like when T-1000 gets hit by a bullet, he just takes a second to kind of suck the liquid metal back in. So it's just a moment of sort of shock and panic.
Okay. And right now I have my firing. I'm going to aim And I have 4 difficulty. Did you want to add anything else? I have my 3 boosts from aiming.
I'm going to spend a story point. Did you have any advantage, Del, on your...
Yes, 2.
2? Okay, so those 2 will cancel out, so nothing there. I'll spend a story point, bringing us to 2 and 3 in...
And I'll spend another story point, so leave it at... It was 3 and 2 again. I'll just spend another one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
3 and 2 again.
3 for us, 2 for Tom.
That's correct.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. And that's it?
Have at it.
That is 5 successes, so that is now 13 damage.
Okay, so the first shot didn't get him. Second shot, you hit him in a different part of the head, and the psyker powers attempt to kind of also pull that together, but there just isn't enough. So his head just like slides in the wrong direction in both ways.
Valentyne's going to look to the others and say, "Hold position. Kill the ones on bikes." He's just going to stay sitting until they spawn.
The body explodes in a blast of ethereal fire, and the bikers, a couple of them like putt to a stop. And look.
And then Morgan will take another knee, and she's going to try and get a driver. Driver of the closest vehicle
Great.
to
We don't
us.
need to roll for all of these. I think it takes like two more bikers before the rest of them are just like, go! And they tear off into the distance as some of the Greybridge people chase them, like just grabbing whatever they can and taking off after them. You also see some of the ones who are shell shocked are just kind of sitting there, not unlike Gideon, just like kind of holding their heads and wailing. Some of the ones who've been here for a while that survived are starting to like go and start to loot the saddlebags. And you can see them like looking to mount up, which Valentyne I know is of great concern to you.
Yeah, that's not happening. Now we're moving out quick. Valentyne will launch Eugene into the air and say, "With me, everyone. This is the Emperor's Holy Inquisition. We are here to rescue you and defeat the enemies of the Golden Throne. Please step away from the bikes." It's just blaring out of Eugene as we approach.
And you just see a noble in like classic white powdered makeup. He's got like a tattered wig. He just, ruffles his cuffs. He says, "It's a lie. It's another one of these deceptions. We must go. One of you fight them. Fight them.
Kneel to the throne or die at my bolt pistol's hand. I do not care. I serve the Inquisition."
And one of the more feral ones who's been here for what looks like weeks, just sighs and says, "I've been waiting a long time for this." Just shivs the guy. And
I like this feral person.
Drags him to the ground, and just kind of stands up and says, "Well, my lord, are you here to save us in the name of the Emperor?"
Correct. We all need to work together if any of us are going to make our way off planet. How approximately long have you been here?
The celestial season feels like years ago, but it could have been days, could have been weeks. I haven't eaten. I haven't slept. I don't know, my lord. How long has it been?
Yes, it has been long for us as well. Some of your compatriots, he looks around at all the ones who seem like they're having mental breakdowns, seem to have arrived more recently. We will require these bikes. We are going to...
Yes, more continue to fall, and like a noble lady falls at distance and just splatters against the ground.
Valentyne? Everyone flinches except Valentyne, who's just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Excellent. We will lead the charge against these foes, determine where they are going, the assets that they have in place. As you can see, they fled in that direction. He just points at the way the bikes went.
Yep.
We will take these vehicles and be an advanced assault force. We can scout it out. We can make our own moves. If you follow with the survivors that you have, we can all move forwards and move together. We are strong if we remain faithful, if we remain allied with each other. Obviously, you and the others who have experience are the only ones who can keep this group alive. But what assets can you allow us to claim? What can you spare?
And he just looks at his shiv and he says,
"No, hang on to that." Anyone who took anything out of the bike, what did you find? That's what he wants laid out for everybody to look at from his team.
Okay, so people begin to first of all, weirdly, I need you to roll a... no, you know what? This guy shivved a guy. I think everyone's on side now. I don't think you need to roll any.
I've got the rosette. The
Shiv
conversion.
together.
He'll keep the conversion field active because it makes him seem more important. Like he can talk to people who are closer through it. Further away, he seems like he's got a bit of a halo. It might be more impressive than not.
Gideon, have you shaking yourself from your
I was gonna say Attikus will have, as we move to the bikes, Attikus will have come to pick Gideon up, put him on his feet.
Sure. I think he's coming around as best you can, given the circumstances.
Lord Van Houten himself just helped you up.
Yeah, and I think that he's still kind of having a little problem with that. So he's still kind of like, thank you.
And it's weird to Attikus that you thanked him. I was just like these kinds of pleasantries. But he's also been Van Houten for a little while now, so he's just says like, move.
That's him plus Lord Van Houten. It's like, I'm much more human.
That's him being like, oh, you need to be told what's happening. Yeah. Okay, this is it.
Yeah. Yep. So I think he'll just kind of wordlessly follow.
Great. All right. So we dump a bunch of stuff out of the saddlebags. Josh, this is where you will get kind of the carried gear that Gideon has. Obviously, Gideon didn't come here with weapons and stuff, but I know during character creation you took some stuff. So it's things that you're able to like find in the saddlebag. From
I was gonna try and retcon it to say that Jeffrey's had it the whole time. he like opens a trench coat. And
that's what Jeffrey does.
I will say, because I know I helped you with the character sheet a little bit. Maybe your family heirloom sword comes from within Jeffrey.
Sure.
Everything else comes off.
Sure.
I like that.
Sure. Actually, I got a better pitch for that if you don't mind.
Go for it, baby.
So yeah, you sort through it, and then something occurs to you that, and you kind of like turn and walk back to where your mother lays, and clutched in her hand, you see the family sword, which she kind of had as she was beckoning you in. So as kind of one final gift to you, you raise the blade. What is it?
I think it's a very long, ornate, thin kind of rapier sort of looking sword, and on the handle there's a very bright red singular rose.
Nice. Okay. So you draw the blade as kind of a final farewell to your old life, knowing that at the pace of move, there won't be time to kind of really process any of this till later. Plus you're in a hell dimension, so so you've got that. Any other gear you have or need? I'm happy if Jeffrey has something in his chest. What would make sense to be in Jeffrey's chest?
The weapons on Greybridge were...
They didn't really use guns, but you do have a collection of knives, I believe.
I was going to say, yes. He does have like a little collection, kind of like the same sort of design as the sword, but just a little skinnier. And one of them does have a... not well noticeable, but a very unnoticeable poison injector.
Oh, nice.
In it too. So that's kind of his cool little thing. And I think he doesn't have too much. He's got a little devotional icon on him that I think Jeffrey might have been holding on to as well.
Sure.
But otherwise, I don't think he had time to grab too much.
Cool. I like that.
And then hopefully if he could find this plasma gun that he brought along with him, if that's like floating around.
Bike-borne plasma gun.
Yeah. Look, these guys have been on this planet a long time, and as we'll see later, there has been some action on this planet. So yeah, you find it's one of those, I know it's always staged, but like in an Antiques Roadshow type of thing where it's just like nothing, garbage, kind of a rusty, heavy thing wrapped in cloth, and it's, shake off the cloth and it's like, oh.
And he just sort of quietly...
Yeah, I was going to say, you walked away with it before Valentine's side, but it's because Valentine's in the midst of this going like, Attikus, find what you need. Morgan, if I can have a moment.
Yes? Inquisitor, what can I do for you?
Congratulations on accepting your rank of interrogator. I do find that deeply satisfying.
As do I.
Excellent. Your first mission is... to help him, he says, looking over at Gideon, taking something from his dead mother. I'm able to establish bonds of loyalty and trust with people over time, but I've never been able to do that in the short term. I am somewhat unsettling for most folk.
Somewhat.
You have a very different relation with the people around you. I need you to keep him sane and functional.
Understood. I will see what makes him tick.
Excellent. If we could make him somewhat more obedient to commands from yourself and myself, and realistically the Colonel, that would be ideal.
Yes, it seems now he is scared, but I will see how I can bring him around.
Excellent. For travel's sake, we'll put you and him on a bike. I will ride with the Colonel.
I can do that.
Wonderful. See if you can find anything from these damn bikes.
She's gonna go sling the sniper rifle over her shoulder and then walk over to pick through things.
You get 5. count them 5 piercing bullets with Pierce 2.
Whoa.
Is that the sound Morgan makes?
So excited.
That's the sound that comes out of Toby.
Yeah.
I was worried she wasn't doing enough damage. I thought, let's make sure she gets some.
We gotta sort that shit out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So you round up the kind of remainder of the survivors. There are, I think, so you probably kill 2 before they all run away. So there's 2 bikes. So Valentyne and Attikus on one, I guess,
Yep.
and then Morgan and Gideon on the other.
From the dead raiders, is there any armor we can find for Attikus? Because he's still currently dressed for a wedding / erotic dance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What did I miss?
Oh, you missed
I
out.
did not see that episode.
yeah. It's kind of in the Fallout Raider level of bad armor, like not that like the shoulder pauldron with like a leather strap kind of thing. So I'd say it's the kind of thing that would be defense 1 against melee.
Okay.
But what you're seeing,
That's what my old armor was, so we're doing great.
okay, yeah, because what you're seeing,
Say spiked old armor. Yeah, that was
yeah,
special
what
thing.
you're seeing is a lot of these sort of very plain jumpsuits. No, to be clear, they're not like fucking vault dwellers or anything. It's not like bright blue. It's just very, very plain, like gray jumpsuit. However, the raiders do seem to have scavenged various things and just kind of strapped on whatever they can to just provide some semblance of
They've just
protection.
created like hard points on the armor kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
kind of, or
Yeah.
just whatever. Like, oh, this can only fit on my shoulder, so I guess I got a shoulder guard now. That sort of thing.
Defense 1, is there any soak provided by the armor or none?
None.
Okay, so I just need to remember
That's why I
that.
need good armor.
Then the
So
only
is
thing
at
Valentyne
6.
would have been keeping an eye out for is of any of the royal guard who had like fallen or gone down, did anybody have a sword or a chain sword or any of that shit? Because he's used to basic equipment. He just doesn't have anything for up close and personal combat right now, which is unsettling for him because he's usually a swordsman.
You can find a las gun from one of the royal guard. I think they would honestly be wielding batons. So there's like one of those riot prod.
Yeah, he'd take. Yeah, if you-
Baton.
do we want to call it like a shock maul in terms
Yeah.
of the rules?
Yeah,
Cool.
but like a bad shock maul.
What about
I'll take a look
raiders?
at the stats and make it worse. I think.
Yeah,
Raiders
sorry,
for
there's a
melee
spear.
gear?
Yeah, you'd find a spear. I think with them, it's a lot of improvised weapons. So yeah, I mean, you could take a, jagged,
Kind of a machete kind of thing?
jagged machete kind of situation. So yeah, if you want a shock maul from the fallen royal guard, you could take that, or you could take a machete, or you could take both. I mean, who am I to limit?
Valentyne loves options, and he's got a bike with a saddlebag. So,
Yep.
I'm just looking at the rules here. There's just like a truncheon if you just want it
Sure.
to be a maul without the shock, so he can just like whack somebody. on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
head
Let's call it
with a
that because I
truncheon.
want to make sure these are bad.
Great, yeah. What we could say is Valentyne's got a bike with a saddlebag. He'll sling the truncheon in there. He doesn't know if he needs
Sure.
that. A machete is as close to a sword as he's going to get right now in terms of combat. It's a bad blade, but it's a blade, so it plays into the various training he's had. So that's what he'll kind of slap onto his hip. He will take out his last pistol and offer it to you, Attikus, because currently you don't have a ranged weapon.
Thank you very much, sir.
Excellent. So, Colonel, you and I will take one of these bikes. Interrogator, Gideon, the other. Are there any rites that you need carried out over your mother before we leave?
Do we have time?
We can spare a brief moment.
Yes, please.
What
I was going to say,
What
he
do you
just
do on Greybridge?
looks over to his interrogator. We've moved beyond Valentine's
All right.
ability to empathize.
Then Morgan will walk up to him and she'll put her hand out to shake it and say, "Interrogator Morgan rolls."
And he'll like, again, he's still not like super satisfied with everything bursting into flame and all the time, so
Yeah.
he's going to be pretty gentle.
Yeah.
But he'll shake your hand. He's Gideon Vega.
Is that Lord Vega of your house?
Yes.
All right. And then she'll sidle up next to you and she moves her hand onto the top of your shoulder. And she's like, "Let us say goodbye to Greybridge and the things you knew before." And she'll walk you over to where your dead mom is.
Sure.
Was there anyone else in your house?
No.
Sometimes in these situations, people leave us, but we continue on and we can keep the memory of them inside of us. Does that bring you some comfort?
And he looks around at the horrors, and just nods.
We don't need to interact with this place more than we have to. We will keep the ideas of home that we had behind and wherever we are going in the future. You can say your goodbyes.
And I think he'll go over to one of the bikes if they have like a burlap or some kind of tarp or something like that, and he'll just get it and kind of put it over her and do the best he can to arrange her in a way. And I don't think he says much. I think he just kind of there's so much that he's dealing with right now that I think he just is trying to control what little he can in this moment, and he just makes her look presentable, and covers her up, and then.
And as they're standing there, Morgan is like, Morgan thinks of the two things that Valentyne told her is like, make sure he doesn't go crazy and make sure he follows directions. So as she's standing there, she's like, oh, the thought pops into her head and she can't help herself. The tides of chaos will overwhelm this place, but something that fights against chaotic evils and heresy is the cleansing burning of flame. She looks at your hands, then she looks at the covered tarp. You can't see your face anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he takes a long minute, and then he puts both hands on it and tries to set it alight.
All right. Seems like as good a time as any to dip into the perils of the warp.
Let's do. And he's immediately
Well, there he goes. Anyway, I tried.
70-kilometer craters.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll so take 2 strain.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
I've been giving you narrative
flavor
plot
strain.
armor for now, but yeah.
Perfect.
So take 2 strain for this.
Beautiful, thank you.
And in terms of the power you're using, I don't know that I really need you to roll for this.
If it's an attack power, just with flame to use it as a weapon, it's always a roll.
Yeah,
psyker
yeah,
shit's
no,
its
I know.
own thing.
Yeah, so we're using pyromancy.
My mother is one target at short range.
Yes, correct.
It's important to do the combat roll because if you miss and she dodges, it implies very specific things about your mother's corpse that we're going to need to address.
Yes. Trying to make this gentle, and then she dodges, and then Valentyne just comes over and just
Gotta put her down.
oh, that's not good.
Oh, mama.
Hold me, Jeffrey.
I don't know, Jeffrey.
I need to be held.
I need to be held.
This is who I am.
Please. This has been a very shitty day.
Oh no, Mama. This is just how Papa went.
It's just as that fortune teller told.
Both of them dodging flames directly into bolter fire.
So yeah, go ahead and roll. It's 1 red.
One red, and then it's a bunch of
A bunch of your
agility,
your magic.
and then 3 ranks in pyromancer. Bang, bang, bang. Cool.
I'll give you a boost from the framing that Morgan has given you. Sure. I think this makes sense to you. Yeah, that's honestly it. I would normally give you setback for the emotional weight of this, but again, this is a closure piece, and I think in terms of how I've always interpreted psyker powers, but particularly pyromancy, it feels like something you're actively trying to hold back at all times. So letting it go is actually, I think, easier it's easier to use than not use, particularly in Warp Town where everything is dialed up. Sure. So yeah, go ahead and roll, please.
I got 2 successes and 4 advantage.
Okay, great. So, yep, you achieve what you set out to do, obviously, and we don't have any perils of the warp. So the fires engulf the body, creating a small pyre. And you kind of watch as, to Morgan's point, the cleansing fire kind of removes any possible threat of chaos from it. And sure enough, like looking around, you can see just the amount of weird things happening on this planet. Even some of the bodies are around you. You can tell that it wouldn't be long. Some of them are starting to like sprout odd hairs for no reason. Like there's clearly influence of chaos here. So you watch the flames, and once they have died down a bit, you go to join the rest of the crew. Do you say anything to Morgan before you go?
I think he gets on the back of the bike and he's trying to be composed about the whole situation, but I think he kind of like grabs around her from the back of the waist and really squeezes hard, and I think he just leans in and says, "Thank you."
We'll have one hand on the front of the bike and put her other hand on top of his hands, like extra gentle. She looks a little crazy because they've been here for a while. She's got her long wavy hair is bedraggled. She's wearing this fancy suit that was the same suit from the wedding, but it's coming apart at the seams. She's been rolling around on the ground, but
you've got Eldari armor on top.
She's got Eldari armor on her shoulders on top of it, but she gentles herself for interacting with Gideon on purpose. And she turns around over her shoulder and like talks to you through her hair, and she's like, "You're safe now with the Inquisition."
Let's go.
And we punch.
So Gideon's getting those stories. Meanwhile, Valentine's talking to his favorite feral, and he's just saying, "I'm giving you a field promotion to the brevet rank of captain. You are in charge of the rest of these irregulars. Follow after us. Make your way there. We will see what other survivors we can save and what technology is in place."
Oh, yes, my lord. Is there, forgive me for asking, but I've seen pieces of Greybridge. Is there even a home to return to?
There is always a home in the Imperium.
But is Greybridge...
I do not know. You do not know. What answer will make you the most comfortable?
That one, I suppose, my lord.
Excellent.
Then falling immediately back into like hierarchy.
Excellent. Share that with the others. He says, turning to go back to his bike.
Great. So you hop on the bike. Is Attikus driving? You drive?
Attikus will drive. He's stronger. Valentine's a better shot.
Attikus doesn't know how to ride bikes.
Well, you're going to have to tell him. He's like, you can drive. Obviously, you're more prepared for that than ranged combat.
This vehicle, sir, is quite reminiscent of the bikes you had us riding back on last Gleaming, sir, and I needed Eli to drive. I don't know how to operate this vehicle, sir.
Ah, then I will drive, and you will engage in any ranged combat that is required.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir.
We all have our deficiencies, and we should not curse ourselves for them. You have great strength in your selected arena.
Thank you, sir.
If we survive this place, we will ensure that you receive bicycle training.
Thank you, sir.
Valentine climbs on.
Attikus wraps his arms around.
Absolutely. It's happened before. It'll happen again.
Attikus rode on the handlebars last time, I think. This time he'll go for the back seat. I don't know how you would call that on a bike, but yeah.
Yeah. So you hop on, and with kind of a roar of the engines, you take off with the sort of remaining vaguely feral and a few of the fresh Greybridge folk who've fallen through, but just kind of pillaging what weapons they can. It is a motley crew that's just doing that like kind of run behind you as you just pull away, driving off. It's been you've left it a little while, so it's not like the bikes are kind of on the horizon, but you're able to start to follow. And it would seem that they're headed kind of vaguely in the direction of the other wreckage, which makes sense. The wreckage is getting more dense the further you drive. More and more chunks of Greybridge and the Cloud Palace have kind of fallen through here. As you drive through, you see a number of bodies that have been almost stripped clean of flesh. There's kind of a green putrid slime in and around them, and signs of struggle. There's, Royal Guard in the full helmet where you can see kind of bone through their shredded uniforms, clearly fell battling whatever came through here. And beyond, there is improbably just a massive funnel of snow sort of blasting up, kind of like off if you go up a mountain, there's spraying artificial snow. It's a bit of that. It's sputtering, but every so often there's a blast of snow, and you can hear kind of the idling of engines ahead, as well as sort of inhuman screams, as well as one singular voice kind of raised above all of this, just yelling, "Okay, you sons of bitches, and you hear King Frederick yelling profanities and seemingly firing a las pistol wildly, and just says, "Fucking defend me, you cowards!" As you approach remnants of the Cloud Palace that are kind of, you can see one of the sort of large weather engines still running off whatever juice it was pulling off of the warp gate, is spewing out the remainder of its kind of battery charge of snow. It almost creates like a bit of an arena vibe, where there's kind of a large circular gap through which you can hear, open to the sky, but like you can hear Frederick fending things off. There do seem to be other people in there with him. You can hear, again, like some screams. You hear some inhuman sounds, and you hear the sort of manic cries of the raiders, including a kind of a panic, like, no, they're coming, they're going to chase us, kind of like thing drifting on the breeze. You also hear the occasional blast of aggressively loud binaric on the air.
Valentyne would flick on his comm bead to his two compatriots, having realized Gideon don't got one. Oversight. Just like, well, we appear to have two options. We could go about this cautiously, but at the same time, this is the Cloud Palace, which, Emperor bless us all, most likely contains a large faction of royal palace guard. They could have been traitorous, they could not, but if the king is alive, perhaps they are on his side. Shall we ride in as heroes, hoping to contribute, or shall we take a more careful path in the hope that we can contribute without receiving damage, knowing it may lead to every ally dying?
I always lead towards caution.
Sounds like he's asking for help. He might be grateful for us to arrive.
This leaves us in an unlikely position. Morgan, could you please check with Gideon Vega to get his opinion?
Yes, sir. And she'll turn around. Do you wish us to be cautious in how we approach this Cloud Palace that's ruined, or be quicker and perhaps help more people? The Inquisitor is asking for your opinion. There's no wrong answer.
I think that like catches him off guard, and he like looks back and seems a little, the Cloud Palace. I don't know. It's full of wondrous things. It may be valuable. This might be an opportunity to stockpile. He wants my opinion?
Yes. Should we take caution, or do you think we should get more allies, perhaps helping them?
That's King Frederick. Yes, let's help, yes.
But she'll click back in internally. He's confused. He wishes to help the king.
Interesting. Well, the Emperor sent us Gideon Vega in our hour of need, which means the Emperor sent us this direction. We ride to save the king, and then perhaps to put him on trial.
Wait, what? What was that last part? I could not hear very well.
Yeah. As we are racing forwards, we do have these brief moments because we do not know what we are tactically going into. I know Attikus would be checking in with his dear... Sorry, I know Valentyne would be checking in with his dear boy Attikus. I am struggling with the names we left behind in Great Bridge. Still haunting me after, to be clear, a year of improvising those in the real world.
Yeah.
But it'll say, Colonel, are you prepared for the violence to come?
Always, sir.
How are you feeling, having left Greybridge behind, having faced off with the Space Marine, with everything else? I want to be sure that you're prepared for whatever we come to face ahead of us.
The Space Marine,
Forrest Pollard.
Yes, sir, yes, of course. I don't, wish to honor him in any way. He was a heretic.
Correct.
And I was honored to be chosen to be a part of his undoing, sir.
Excellent. I dearly hope that you'll be doubly honored. Very few people get a chance to defeat and then kill a traitor twice. You are the Emperor's fist. You realize that, Attikus Fist?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
It is not I who says this. It is the thing that has been decreed. You've been plucked off the battlefield multiple times. You've survived where no one else could have. You were blessed throughout Greybridge with a success that, honestly, I think surprised us both.
Yes, sir. Indeed, yes.
Do you have any remaining feelings about your previous role? I'm aware that we're going into combat, but it's a bit of a ride, and it's important that I check in on your mental state. Do you have any remnants of that persona? You've not had to go this deep before.
No, sir, I have not. I thought it would be a relief to dispense with cover, but there's nothing relieving about this place, sir.
I agree.
Am I to assume that if we're helping out the king here, then I am Van Houten again?
The game is over.
No, right.
We are the Inquisition.
I like it that way, sir.
As do I. I'll try to keep the enemies as far away from us as possible, but our options are at range, or, shall we say, at fist length.
Well, with the Emperor's hand, sir, I can throw a pretty hefty projectile as well.
Excellent. If there is something large, mechanical, something that cannot be taken out by our fire or the king's, I will need to get us close and perhaps, shall we say, launch you as a projectile off of this bike into it.
It would be an honor, sir.
An
and
honor.
a novelty.
Amen.
That's their prep.
Amazing.
I like when you said, give me Van Houten again, and you were a little disappointed. Like, oh, no, you're right. I didn't want that either. As he's like putting the clothes, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Wrote this poem for nothing, man.
Yeah, and then Morgan would, as in the meanwhile, if they're going closer into combat, she would turn to Gideon. Lord Vega, I saw you had a sword. Are you well trained with that?
I suppose I not like anyone else here, but I think I can function.
All right. Have you seen combat before?
Well, in so much as was available on Greybridge, I sparred with people.
Have you killed anyone?
Me? No. No.
You might have to, so keep that in mind.
Oh, yes, okay.
I understand it might be difficult, but I'm here for you.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I don't mean to be a problem or anything like that. I didn't want to come here, but I saw you and I saw Mr. Van Houten, Lord Van Houten, Attikus. And if I can help, that I've always wanted to do that.
Then you ended up in the right place. You are not a problem or a burden, but you have to know you need to follow the Inquisitor's will. He can be harsh, but he wishes to keep you safe.
But what does he want to keep me safe from? Is it this? And then he looks down at his hand, or is it something else?
This entire world, but he will explain more. You have been sent to us from the Emperor. You were meant to be here.
Well, I will do my best.
Whoever you were in your life before, you have a new one now, and you will go to great things.
That is all that I've wanted.
You will get your wish, Lord Vega.
Valentyne pulls his bike up next to Morgan's as we peel towards this arena.
And you just hear from inside, all right, all you motherfuckers, you want to kill a king? Come kill a king. Give me that fucking sword. And you just hear a blast of binaric that sort of scatters a bit into static and then just says, over my dead body, your highness. This is one writer who will not give up so easily. And with that, you burst into the arena.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Ryan LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Josh Halbot, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum-Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christopher Little, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Alex Parr, Dragonfly, The Body Barrelers, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, The Gata Family, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Dan the Welshman, Afflicto Gaming, Aiden, Beef Not Cheese, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.